Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this episode of Bitcoin Trade, and I guess this is going to be about a news article. I won't get too much into. I'll maybe do a little chart analysis at the end here, um, but I wanted to talk about this particular article. I saw this, and it says BitCon veteran fraud expert sets his sights on Bitcoin. And I thought this was interesting because, my experience with Bitcoin, if you've seen my episodes all the way up to now, you probably think it's very interesting. I hope my episodes are interesting. But anyways, I saw this and I thought, let's see what this guy has to say. And so I did read the article and I read some of its quotes, and he's also written a book, which I did go to as well. And basically, this person's making a claim that bitcoins will be worthless, but the blockchain technology is something that is obviously recognized. Now, that's a given, right? That's definitely a given. The blockchain technology has solved a lot of issues with digital currency, digital money, digital transfers. A lot of things are coming. New technology are building on top of that, and so that's there's no denying that. All right, but he's talking specifically about Bitcoin, the pretend currency, the pretend commodity. And I've always said this. I said this in my previous episodes. Bitcoins don't exist at all. But yet I continue to buy them and sell them and use them and trade them, invest in them, and in some ways, it's the heart of all this is the blockchain technology. But at the same time, the blockchain technology itself, as exciting as it is, if you can't make it real, it doesn't mean a damn thing. And my experience with, the blockchain technology is pretty much zero because I'm not a programmer, I'm not a computer person. I obviously I use it via Bitcoin, the little b. Everyone puts the emphasis on the little b, or takes away the emphasis on Bitcoin by putting a little b on it, and there's a big B with the Bitcoin being the blockchain technology. But how I interact with the blockchain technology is by the little b Bitcoin, the currency, and it's harder to evaluate intrinsic value on something that doesn't exist, because that's how I interact with the blockchain technology. That's how I use the blockchain technology with the little b Bitcoin, the currency, the pretend currency, the pretend commodity. Without that, I don't know how I interact with it in the physical world. How I can turn the little b Bitcoin into real fucking money, which then I can use in this fucking real world to do shit. So I don't know what to say, but the little b technology is, in my opinion, grossly misunderstood. It needs the blockchain, of course, but I don't think a lot of people don't understand, especially this gentleman does not understand how the little b technology works in the physical world. And don't worry, I'm not angry at you. I'm just trying to make a point, and I'm cursing, but sometimes that's just how I do things. Okay. So, anyways, read the article, and it leads to his book, which I followed, and here it is: from the author of The Laundryman, The Naked Truth About Bitcoin. And what intrigued me a lot about the author, let me see, the author's name is Jeffrey Robinson, was he's specifically addressing fraud and scams and schemes, stuff like that. And, he's trying to expose basically fraud, which that's what I'm trying to do too. But how we expose fraud are two different things. I expose fraud through the use of Bitcoin. I've noticed, I'm attacked every day because I trade Bitcoin. People come to me. There's entities that come to me. I believe they're entities of the Dark Overlord. But they come to me every day and they try to fraud me or defraud me of my Bitcoins every day. But some are successful because of my lack of knowledge of how they use how can I say it? How they use the current financial system to defraud you of your Bitcoins. Example, PayPal, credit cards, checks. They even use the banks now to defraud you of your Bitcoin. So they go in, make a cash deposit, then go right back, and then say, "Oh, I made a mistake. I didn't mean to deposit in there," and get their money back. So these are all agents of the Dark Overlord, and of course they want to take your Bitcoins because they know what the true value. Here's my opinion: if people are willing to steal whatever they're trying to steal, it means it's worth something. And that's just my opinion on it. So anyways, I read this. I didn't read the whole thing. Obviously, it's just the introduction or just a little tidbit. From what I have read, everything this guy was saying is true. And I've said many times that money is an illusion, and to some degree, Bitcoin is an illusion. The only difference between money that we're used to and the Bitcoins is that Bitcoin, because of the creator, has taught me what money really is. It's an illusion. And to some degree, Bitcoin is an illusion as well, because remember, Bitcoins don't exist. So if Bitcoins don't exist, yet people desire to steal them from you, or defraud them, or use trickery or deception and lie to you, isn't that kind of weird? So why are they trying to steal something that doesn't exist? Because it reveals the truth. It empowers you. It takes the blinds off your eyes. It allows you to see everything for what it really is. And once you realize that, you'll soon learn that you've been enslaved all your life. And now that you can see the truth, you can break free from your enslavement. And you'll realize you never needed money. And you'll never even need Bitcoins, really. But me using Bitcoin has led to my freedom in some ways. So that's the interesting part. By using Bitcoin and co-creating with the creator, I'm able to break free and empower myself and create the world that I see fit. take control of your own destiny. And so, in that regard, I think maybe this particular author, Jeffrey Robinson, I think he may have missed that. Because I said many times, if you've seen my episodes, that money won't, there will be no need for money, and there will be no need for bitcoins. And when this author says bitcoins would be worthless, he's right. There will come a time when, you know, people will realize, well, wow, we don't need bitcoins anymore. We're free. We're free. Free from enslavement. And so, but that time is not here yet. And it's a work in progress, I could say. Well, I don't know what to say. That time is not here yet. Because you got to ask yourself: Are you free yet? Are others free yet? So, anyways, I've read the first part of this, and I absolutely agree with this gentleman, Jeffrey Robertson, because, you know, and he talks a lot about the things that have had happened, in which I actually lived and experienced those things, first-hand experience. So I can tell that he's telling the truth. But at the same time, his truth is way different than my truth. You know, I can only say that, let me see, I'll show you the, okay, well, that's about it. So, when the world is nothing but a fraud to you, that's what the world becomes, nothing but a fraud. And the world is horrible to be in, and everything sucks. Guess what? The world sucks to you. I understand that. I used to think that way a lot myself. Until I came across Bitcoin, of course, and then things really turned around for me. Now, when I look at the world, I see a future. A future where you have absolute free will. A future where you have a stake in everything around you. I also see a future where money's not even needed anymore. To some degree, maybe even Bitcoin. A future where, well, I'll let you imagine, if you can, if it's possible for you to. I mean, you can imagine the world sucks and everyone's going to kill each other and we're all a bunch of idiots. You know, that's okay too. But in my virtual reality, it's a beautiful place. It's a place where I want to be, and I want to make it real. So, anyways, I'm probably not going to buy the book because if I was going to buy it, I wanted it to be on paperback so I can read it without looking at the computer all the time. But what I've read so far, you know, I think is very intriguing, very interesting. If Mr. Jeffrey Robinson made a paperback version of this, I would buy it and read it, and probably recommend it for people who are non-believers or who have no experience with Bitcoin and don't have any desire to experience anything of Bitcoin, but you want to know what the hell is Bitcoin, because I think Jeffrey Robinson definitely explained what Bitcoin is to a person who knows nothing about Bitcoin. I think he explains it very well in an objective kind of way, but through his point of view, and I'm okay with that. He has an absolute, you know, right to do that. And you know, this is a book for people who are non-believers. If you want to know what the hell Bitcoin is, Mr. Robinson explains it, and I am telling you that Bitcoins will be worth nothing. But until, well, watch my previous episodes, you'll see what I'm talking about. They'll be worth to a point where no one will sell you one, and then shortly after that, they will be worth nothing. Okay. Anyways, there you go. That's this episode here. That's what I really wanted to talk about. I think there's a lot of truth what Mr. Robinson is saying, but at the same time, my experience with it and my testimony, if you've seen my episodes, are totally different. It's strange. We could look how two people can look at something and come up with totally two different things, but yet both are true. That's the incredible part about Bitcoin. Anyways, let's go into on chart analysis. We'll talk. This is enough about this. And you're welcome, Mr. Robinson. I just promoted your book. Send me a Bitcoin, okay? So, anyways, here you go. Oh, sorry. All right. So, here you go. Here's the price, and you'll see that it's. Let me see. I'm on Bitfin 12-hour. And you'll see that it's now going back on that down trend, and it's turned over, and it's following the 10-period average. And so it's the resistance has begun again here, and it's a question of how is it gonna stay that way, or is this just a retracement? If you're a wave theorist, you'll say this is wave 1, 2, and then a third wave is bound to happen going up. So there's that idea. It's plausible. Also, I mentioned that 350 is a good area to put in some buy orders, because I think it might come down and bounce off of that and go up if this is going on a reversal on the trend here. So right now it hasn't done much. The volume is kind of a little picked up, but not as much. It's tested. It's hit this 10-period average. I guess going into the weekends, you're gonna have to see. Of course, on the weekends, a lot of things can happen. People do trade on this thing. Trades 24/7, never stops. So not much has happened. It's kind of hit where I thought it would hit, around 330. On the Bitstamp price, we'll just go over some of the other exchanges here real quick. On the Bitstamp price, it actually hit down to 330. You see that? 330. And so it's a question of whether it's going to maintain above it. If it does, then it may go sideways and rise up, or but I think once it goes below 330 and actually finishes below that, you're going to look for more downtrend around this price area right here. And then let's look at Bitsy real quick. And Bitsy actually, there you go, 330, actually hit 330. And same scenario, okay. And then we'll go into the Chinese Hobu, I think Huobi or something, I don't know. Maybe I should talk to someone who's Chinese, and then they can tell me how to pronounce it, but until that happens, I don't know. So anyways, gosh darn it, focus. Sorry about this, but oh well. Okay, there we go. So I don't know what price that is, but I'm assuming that's equivalent to 350. So again, it's just following the same thing. So that's it with that. You need more. I would need more data. Of course, after it happens, it's kind of no good, right? But again, I would be selective. Let's go back onto Bitfin so I can give you some US dollar prices. I don't know anything about Chinese money. Okay, so 350. So I think maintaining around this price 350, if you can get some buy orders around here, this could be a good potential. In either case, it's cheaper than what it was before. So if you're a person who holds onto your Bitcoin, buying at a lower price is always better than buying at a higher price. And so you're gonna have to give it time, and to see what's happening on this, what's happening, you have to zoom into it. So we can zoom into an hourly. So I'm gonna go into an hourly, and then to see the more details of what's happening, you get a better idea if you go into it. So you see that this turned over here. Now it's got a big gap, but on an hourly it's so noisy, you know, you can't, it's hard to tell. But you can see that it's hitting up against this longer average period, the 25 period, and it's hitting against that. Once this cross over, I think on an hourly basis, if it cross over, that's when you're going to see, if you go pull back up to the 12 hour, that's when you're going to see it break out of here and then probably hit up against this 25 period average, in which when you pull back to get a better idea of a longer term period, a longer time frame, you'll start seeing a trend now where you could kind of see the possible trending going back up. Otherwise, it's just more down, and then the next would be right around here at this price level, maybe even at 300. Worst case scenario, you could always put something around 275 and see if it hits. There may be a flash crash, and then you know how flash crashes go. It just flashes down and then comes right back up. Wouldn't be a bad idea just to have a cheap insurance, small amount at this price range. So, but I'm looking at towards this perspective of being long in Bitcoin. In other words, trying to get as much Bitcoin you can. You know, so that's my perspective on it. How would you play this if you were trying to be long the dollar? Like, you don't want Bitcoins. You're like a miner. I would assume a miner would think this way. I'm a miner and I don't want any more Bitcoins. I get enough. I'm looking for some legal tender so I can pay my bills. How would you play this if you were mining your Bitcoins and then you know, going onto the exchange to trade them? Well, for you guys, I would just assume you just go to the exchange to sell them and then wire your money out. So there's really no strategy for you guys. If you do start doing this, you would have to become a trader, an investor. And that's a whole different mindset than just mining Bitcoins and then trying to figure out how do you turn your Bitcoins into money so you can pay your bills. It's a little bit more complicated. It's a little bit more, how can I say this? You know, you can give everybody in the world the same amount of money, right? You could have them, we could push the restart button and everyone, boom, has the same amount of money. Everyone has a house, everyone has a car, etc., etc. Everyone has the same exact, we all start at the same place. And then you give yourself 10 years and you'll find that, well, what happened? Some people have more and others have less. What happened? Well, you know, it could be circumstance, could be luck, but I would have to say it's mostly skill, and it's something that you're gonna have to learn. It doesn't come from reading a book or going to school. It just comes from practice and use. So that's what I have to say for people who are mining and, you know, that you're trying to figure out how do you turn all these Bitcoins into money. Well, obviously, one thing you can do is you can sell to me and I'll buy them from you. But the only reason why I'd buy from you because I know I can turn whatever I buy from you into 10 times, a million times more than what you sold it for me. So if you're trying to do something like that and you're a miner, it's going to take time. It's going to take experience. It's fortunately, I'll tell you what happened to me. I learned the hard way. I lost money. Um, and I guess that's one way you're going to be learning. You have to pay to learn. Um, it helps not to, but inexperience does cost you money. Having experience, being smart, having foresight, those things, a lot of intuition. Um, there's some luck to it, but mostly, these are skills that you acquire by doing, and not necessarily from learning per se, or like reading a book, or going to these seminars and stuff like that, or even from watching my videos. Eventually, the best teacher is experience, and to do that, you have to do something. You have to take some action. So that's what I have to say for people who are mining and they're trying to, figure out how to make money on doing this other than trying to cash out. So anyways, my perspective is trading for the purpose of gaining Bitcoin. Alright? That's my perspective on it. That's what I'm trading for, and that's my purpose of trading. I do trade for money too, but just like everyone else, I have to pay my bills, and some of these companies don't take Bitcoins, so I have to put food on the table. But really all I'm trying to do is gain Bitcoins. That's my ultimate goal. And if you have that perspective, I think you're going to do well. If your perspective is to see if you can cash out as much Bitcoin as you can, you're going to lose. It's a losing game. I've mentioned that many times before. If you put your perspective into see how much Bitcoins you can get, try to gain as much Bitcoins as you can, that's a win-win, right? The value of your Bitcoins, first of all, you're going to get a lot of Bitcoins, and they're going to be for free because you made the gain, alright? And then if you can get them at a lower price, even better. And on top of that, they're going to appreciate in value, in theory, right? Well, hopefully it will, and it has, long term. This year it's kind of gone down in value from its highs, but long term it's going to appreciate in value. So patience is a virtue in this game, and if you can try to get as much Bitcoin as you can, or gain as much Bitcoin as you can, I think you're going to be better off if you have that kind of perspective and that kind of mentality, other than how much money are you going to make. It should be about how much Bitcoins are you going to get. And that's the difference. That's like the difference between what this gentleman is doing and what I am doing. We both looked at Bitcoin. We both know what it is. We both understand it. But look how this person views Bitcoin. He calls it a Bitcoin, and look how I view Bitcoin. Totally different. But yet we understand what it is, how it works. So how can two people look at the same thing and walk away with a different conclusion? Because the power to create the world that you want is within you. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this episode. Feel free to like, dislike, leave a comment. Also, do a video response. Until next time, stay tuned. Bye.